ISIS, the brutal terror group, releasing a new video showing the execution of a Jordanian pilot and the key U.S. ally quickly retaliating overnight. ABC's Brian Ross is here with the latest on all that. Good morning, Brian.
Well, good morning, Robin. This morning, the cries of outrage turned to calls for revenge. And just before dawn in Jordan, 2 al-Qaeda terrorists on death row were hanged, one of them a woman, in swift retaliation for the brutal murder of that captured Jordanian pilot. This morning, the bodies of the 2 executed al-Qaeda prisoners were removed from the prison where they were hanged. One of them was the failed suicide bomber Sajida al-Rishawi, who ISIS had wanted to swap for the captured pilot. She had been sentenced to die 9 years ago, following an attack that killed some 60 Jordanians. The order to execute the 2 came from Jordanian King Abdullah, who met last night at the White House with President Obama, and in a TV address urged Jordanians to show their mettle in confronting ISIS. This morning in Jordan, a nationwide prayer for a country in shock over the barbaric murder of the pilot, First Lieutenant Moaz al-Qasasbeh, who was put in a cage and then burned alive by ISIS. Images ABC News will not broadcast. Unlike previous ISIS video, there was no Jihadi John executioner. Instead, a contingent of ISIS fighters watched over the scene as the pilot was enveloped in flames. The pilot's family, prominent tribal leaders in Jordan, demanded revenge and said today the execution of the 2 al-Qaeda prisoners was still not enough.
At some point, this kind of act backfires on a group like ISIS.
The murdered pilot was part of the U.S. coalition air force that has carried out some 2,000 airstrikes against ISIS. But short of sending in ground troops, military officials say the strategy will remain the same, with no explicit retaliation. And now for the U.S., there remains great concern about the plight of the young American woman still believed to be held hostage by ISIS. U.S. officials tell ABC News they believe she is still alive based on recent evidence they have received. Robin and George.
All right, Brian, thank you very much.